Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Sanders. Again, yes, coming right back at you. Um, in this piece, I want to discuss this interesting article I found about Berlin. Yes, they are planning to go car free in an area larger than Manhattan. That's right. They want to go car free in an area larger than Manhattan. So let's look at this article and then discuss it. All right. The citizen driven plan that the city is considering now would create the largest car free area in a city anywhere in the world. In 2019, at a bar in Berlin, three friends were having a drink when they started considering a radical idea. What if the middle of their current car centric city became essentially car free? Over the next few months, they kept talking about the idea and eventually created a group. Volkenschied Berlin Autofree, or People's Decision for Autofree Berlin. The goal, they agreed, should be to limit cars within the space inside the Ringbahn and a huge circular train line in the city. The space is larger than Manhattan, and if the plan succeeded, it would be the largest car free area in any city in the world. Working with pro bono lawyers, the group crafted a proposed new law spelling out what would change. As in other cities, car free doesn't literally mean that no cars can enter the area, but private car use would dramatically drop. Special permits would be given to emergency vehicles, garbage trucks, taxis, commercial and delivery vehicles, though many deliveries in Berlin already happen on cargo bikes, and residents with limited mobility would depend on cars. Others would be able to use a car, likely through car sharing program, up to 12 times a year to run longer errands. But most people, most of the time, would walk, bike, or take public transportation. It's as much about our immediate environment as it is about the environment at large, Nina Noble said. One of the founders of the campaign told The Guardian. It's about how we all want to live, breathe, and play together. We want people to be able to sleep with their windows open and children to be able to play in the street again. And grandparents should be able to ride their bicycles safely and have plenty of benches to take a breather on. Last April, they started gathering signatures in support of the campaign, ultimately getting 50,000 people to sign. The Berlin Senate, the city's governing body, is now considering the idea. In February, the city will decide whether to adapt the new law. In 2016, the same process led the city to adapt a different law to improve cycling in Berlin. If the idea is rejected by the city, now the group will begin gathering signatures again with 175,000 people in support. The proposal would then go on the ballot in 2023, and citizens will decide if it should become law. It's already much easier to avoid driving in Berlin than it is even in dense American cities. The trains, for example, run every 5 minutes. Hear that, New York? Every 5 minutes. Hear that, New York? Every 5 minutes. That's right, 5 minutes. The train runs every 5 minutes in Berlin. That is something we need to aspire to. I don't even need to know when the next one is coming because I know it's coming soon enough that I don't care. And that makes a huge difference, says Nick Kastner, an American who's moved to Berlin in 2020 from San Francisco and is now part of the Autofree group. In San Francisco, the BART trains run as frequently as every 30 minutes at off-peak times. Most bike lanes are an extension of the sidewalk away from car traffic, so it's easier to bike. Still, he says, many people who drive in Berlin are likely to say the alternatives aren't yet convenient enough. They'll say, I'm all in favor of transit as long as you beef it up and make it work for me, then I'll switch as soon as that happens, he says. The car-free campaign is based on the assumption that a bigger push was needed because people might not change habits on their own, even as the services keep incrementally improving. If you want to have an environmentally friendly, future-focused city that has clean air and more livable spaces for its citizens and climate-friendly and accessible to all, not just car drivers, then you have to rip that band-aid off, so to speak, he says. Create those conditions proactively, not eventually. Yes, I like this saying. I like this statement. Um, so yeah. Um, In some cases, people may not be convinced until they see the changes happen. Berlin, which was largely destroyed in World War II, is rebuilt with wide, car-friendly streets that look more like an American than a typical European city. As in American cities, it can be hard to imagine how it might look, say, as a bike-friendly Amsterdam instead. But even Amsterdam had to take concerted action to transform itself. While Berlin campaign is trying to convince as many people as possible to support the idea now, the goal is not to convince everybody. This is going to work before you take the first step. He says, probably what you need to do, and Paris has done this really well, and Barcelona, is to show people through examples of what kind of city you would create, and then to build support that allows you to do it in a more holistic way. Already, some neighborhoods in Berlin are building Kiesblocks, large areas where traffic is limited and more are planned. So basically, that's similar to the Superblock in Spain. Barcelona is known for it. It's basically this, like, I guess, car-free space, huge car-free space for people to congregate. They can, play or bike or walk or take public transit, something other than a car. And it's like a block, and people, it's kind of amazing, especially when you look at it on the map and you see what it looks like from up above on the maps. It looks amazing. So, all right. So, campaign organizers argue that the reality of climate change means that streets should be redesigned even more quickly. Katzner says that people in Berlin are more likely to understand that the answer isn't just to shift to electric cars. My biggest takeaway from Berlin and Europe in general over the United States is that they have realized that this is not just a revolution towards electric vehicles, but towards the removal of vehicles in general. Yeah, I have to agree with that. It is towards removing vehicles as many as reasonably possible from the equation altogether. I'm thrilled about that, that they're even considering such a plan. I mean, this is quite beautiful. Hopefully we in America will be able to get there soon. So, in any case, let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling. Do you want a car-free city? Do you want to live in drive everywhere, be trapped in the car everywhere to go anywhere? Ooh. I'm from a suburb. I used to drive all over the place. I love to drive, but I've been spoiled by New York, in that I didn't need a car. I mean, there's minus $700 to $1,000 a month in gas, and the train runs. Even though it's not nearly as good as Berlin's train in terms of there's one every 5 minutes, it does run all night, and it comes enough that it's just good enough, even though it's extremely, it's New York, but we can have a nice train too here if we just gotta want it and demand it. So loving this plan for Berlin. It'll be interesting to see how fast they can move on this. Some countries like China, they move very quickly, and that's the benefit of the system they have, is that they can move very quickly to implement very major changes, which, people knock it, but there's some logic in that. So, I like my freedom of speech and capitalism and all that. That's right. I'm still left wing. That's a distinction that needs to be made. Is capitalism left wing, not socialism left wing, um, because I do believe in I do believe in worker rights and stuff. But yeah, and also, this isn't just a left wing thing, by the way. My most conservative friend here, uh, he was the one who got me even thinking about stuff like this. Because he likes living in nice cities too, and so even though we don't always agree on some of the other issues on politics, we are very much online on this, on making America better, and actually better, not just oh, we're gonna thump our chest and denigrate everyone else better. So yeah, so Berlin, wow, impressive. Have to go to Germany and see it, see the changes that they're making. Um, First Amsterdam, but then Germany, or then Denmark, then Germany. Sorry, Germany, but Denmark has Copenhagen, and it's Copenhagen. So, in any case, any other comments, leave them down there. People, have a wonderful morning. It's time for me to write some code. I'm gonna write some code. Let's make it a great day.